What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday. The first Tuesday of 2026. It's Tuesday. It's a Jason Sukamel day in here. Jason, transfer portal, transfer portal, transfer portal. We're going to talk about that today and where Texas stands. The question really becomes, Jason, there's 10 days left for guys to enter their name in the portal, right? So you could still come out of the portal at any point, but 10 days for guys to enter that. And at that point, most of the heavy lifting will be done. Anybody who comes after that period, it'll be an addition to, but it may not be the premier guys. We're already in. I think Texas, what are we at? 5 commits for Texas or 6 with the guy with the tight end yesterday?
5, I believe.
5.
3 specialists, a tight end, and the D tackle. Yeah.
So I think many of us, Jason, I thought probably expected a lot more fireworks to start off the transfer portal season. It's not shaping up that way. My question to you is, again, we're a few days into this. Are we pushing the panic button 4 days into this thing, Jason? Are you hovering around the panic button, or do you not have it in the same room as yourself?
I've probably brought it into the same room, but maybe it's not sitting on my desk. It's not right in front of me. I haven't pushed the button. But you're right, Amar. Like, I think we all, and maybe this includes coaches and everybody, misjudged how this was going to play out. Listen, the portal opened Friday night, I guess at midnight, like 12:01 Friday, right?
Yeah.
I made sure I was up Friday and at the computer at 6 a.m. And even then I was like, oh shit, what if something happens between midnight and 6 a.m.? Right? Because I thought, I was like, commitments are going to be flying in fast and furious. And we're all sitting at our computers all day Friday, all night Friday, and not a whole lot happened. I mean, you had a couple visits and you had weekend visits. And then, I mean, Saturday, you and Ketch and I and the Orange Blood staff were communicating, and we're expecting all kinds of activity. And hey, should we be down on campus, like stalking these guys and like
at the airport, like anything, right?
I thought about doing my whole airport trick, but I'm like, I don't even know who I'd be looking for. You know, I'm like, I don't know these dudes. So, yeah, but things have moved a lot slower. Like you said, 5 commitments. And I wrote this on Saturday, maybe Sunday morning. I can't remember. I think it was Sunday morning. I said, hey, keep an eye on these specialists, the kicker, the punter, the long snapper. I said, those guys usually move really quickly. Okay. And sure enough, boom, 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 they all committed. The Arkansas defensive lineman commits, the Michigan State tight end commits yesterday. But we're still waiting on developments from the big guys. I mean, everybody knows like Cam Coleman and some of those types. So I'm not hitting the panic button because Texas still has some big fish on the line. But it is a little bit alarming at positions like the running back position. Kawan Lacey's off the board. Isaac Brown sticking with Louisville. Nothing from Jaden Baugh yet, right? The Florida running back. I talked to a Florida source, and again, this is 36 hours ago. Things can change, of course. There's an expectation by people in the Florida football department that Jaden Baugh is going to stick with Florida. Now, they are nervous. They said, hey, he hasn't told us yet, so we're nervous. But they think they've got a good chance of retaining him. If that happens, I mean, Texas got Raleek Brown from Arizona State, which good player, but you know, it's a little bit of drop down from these quote unquote top tier guys. I mean, I'll tell you what needs to happen here, Amar, for me to walk away from this feeling really good. You've got to get Cam Coleman. At this point, you have to get Raleek Brown, right, at running back. Unless something does work out with Jaden Baugh, then obviously he's the priority. You've got to get these 2 Michigan offensive linemen that visited already. I've got their name here. Andrew Sprague and Jake Guarnera. One's a tackle, one's a guard. If you get those guys, you're starting to feel pretty good about things. Okay, everything else is just icing on the cake. You know, the Jaden Woods guy from Florida. I mean, it's these linebackers that are visiting, but it's starting to get a little bit worrisome at the running back position and maybe a little bit offensive line. Just the lack of action there. I mean, I heard good things about Texas's chances with those Michigan linemen, but now we're hearing from Michigan reporters that Kyle Whittingham is meeting with them. I've heard that Eli Drinkwitz is meeting with the tackle for Missouri. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's It hasn't played out the way I thought it would. I think it's okay, and I think it's fair to be a little bit worried if you're a Texas fan, or a little bit concerned. But yeah, I don't think you need to hit the panic button just yet.
Well, let's go position by position on this one, Jason. Let's start with the running back conversation, okay? As you mentioned, I think there was a lot of high hopes for Isaac Brown. When he was talking, there was a possibility of there. He decides that he's going to stay with Louisville, and you're like, damn, okay. And then there was this thought process as relates to Kewan Lacey, like, okay, well, he's probably going to leave. I mean, why? His coach isn't there, so on and so forth, right? Of course, he's going to leave, and Texas will be a natural suitor for that. And last night, he gets a deal, and he's good to go. And now that he comes off the table, right? The Jaden Ball thing is interesting for me, Jason, because I was talking to Ketch about this yesterday. And my only thing with Jaden Ball is this. I feel like Jaden Ball knows everything he needs to know. Mm-hmm. He's the running backs coach. Jabbar Jaluk is here, right? I'm sure he would know what he can make at Texas if he went into the transfer portal, right? So I don't feel like there's much more information for that guy to get. And I know there's some thought process of, well, maybe it's a negotiation thing and he's waiting for guys to come off the board, so on and so on. But I feel like Jaden Ball is kind of in his own category where he's that good. I don't think anybody's going to say no to him or no to his money, right? So, no to giving him money. We just saw Quintravion Wisner go to FSU, right? Mm-hmm. And that was that. I mean, that's a hell of a program, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It seems to me at this moment, Jason, it's either Raleek Brown or bust. Am I being over dramatic when I say that?
No. And listen, he's a good player, but is Raleek Brown a boom? And if you get him, mm-hmm. Is he much better than Trey Wisner? Not a lot, not statistically. He had a few good games last year, but if you look at his game by game stats from last year, he had some real stinkers, and he did well against teams that were not very good, but he didn't light it up week in and week out.
It was 1,000-yard back for whatever that's worth.
I think he had 200 and something, 250 or something in one game, though. So,
Jason.
Yeah, I would say, hey, those games count, right? So you can't just be selective.
Okay, 256 versus Colorado.
Yeah.
TCU,
134
versus TCU, 144 versus Texas State, and 110 versus Mississippi State. So probably half of his yards in 1, 2, 3, 4 games.
Yeah, okay. At least. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but hey, like I say, those games count just like the other ones. So, but yeah, I don't know. There's been some chatter of the Michigan running back Jordan Marshall, and would he possibly be a candidate if he wanted to leave? I don't know. I'm sure the coaches have other names on their board, but the further you go down the board,
mm-hmm.
It reminds me of, I don't remember what year it was. Remember Herb Hand, the offensive line coach?
Oh yeah.
He kept having to go further and further and further and further down his board. And I'm like, you might as well not even take a dude at this point.
Right? He stole someone from, what was that, Houston State or something like that? It was like a commit from what was that school? It was like something like Houston State, something to that effect. I don't think it was Sam Houston, but something to that effect.
It was like the worst position recruiting effort I've ever seen in one recruiting cycle. Yeah. But I'm sure there are others that Texas has got some feelers out or taking some flyers on, but are they going to be here's the way I look at this. I was thinking about this morning, Omar.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot of work to be done in the portal. They get Cam Coleman, they get the Michigan offensive lineman. We're talking about this in a whole different light. Okay.
Yeah.
They get the Rutgers DB, but as things stand right now, is this team better or worse than the team that played A&M and played Arkansas? All the guys that have left, none of them have really been replaced. Jack Endry's kind of your kicker, punter. Okay. Yes. But, the guys that are leaving early for the NFL, and you're not going to just be able to replace. I get it. You can't just count on replacing all those dudes through the portal. It's going to have to be some development of guys in the program. But I don't know. It's been a much slower start than I anticipated. I thought Texas would have I had commitment stories written on a bunch of these dudes. I had Isaac Brown. I had a commitment story written and ready on Isaac Brown. I thought that one might move super quickly. Waste of my time. I wrote a commitment story on Cam Coleman. I mean, and I know we're going position by position. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But, yeah, the running back thing, is it Malik Brown or bust? Kind of feels that way. I don't think you're being extreme in saying that. And, he's kind of on that second tier of the guys we were talking about when the portal first opened.
Jason, if it's all said and done, and maybe they get Malik Brown, right? And maybe he ends up being a guy. But if not, Sark mentioned Derek Cooper as a guy incoming. I'm just curious, like, for those who are unfamiliar with him and maybe didn't follow his recruitment because they were just caught up in the season, like, give us just a profile on Derek Cooper as an incoming running back, because some believe he could be a real elite guy, but I know he'll be a freshman. But I just kind of get your thoughts on him before we move on to offensive line.
Yeah, the Texas coaches certainly think he can be an elite guy. And for Sark to mention him specifically, right? What press conference was it? I can't even draw on a blank.
It was. I feel like it was the
before the bowl game, I guess, right?
Yeah, I feel like it was before the bowl game.
He was talking about transfer portal, and I think you might have even asked the question. They're counting on him, and they treated him as a recruit, both in the way they recruited him and NIL and those types of things, as a player that they think is going to come in and be a day one contributor. And he has that kind of talent. Listen, Georgia wanted him, Alabama, Miami wanted to keep him home really badly. Obviously, Texas came in and kind of moved that thing 180. He wasn't really considering Texas in the summer. And and then like a month later, he is committed to Texas and never really looked back, despite, the efforts of programs like Miami. Ohio State really wanted this guy. So, there are some people who think he's the best running back in the country coming out of high school next year. Opinions on that vary, as they usually do. But, yeah, he's a guy that, could he be your lead running back? Absolutely. As a true freshman, he absolutely could. Now, is he going to do that from the moment he steps on campus? I don't know about that. He's a bigger back. He's got verified track times. People like to talk about Jaden Blue. He has track times similar to Jaden Blue. So that tells you what kind of explosiveness he has. He can run between the tackles. He can be a receiver, can do a little bit of everything. So, yeah, he's immensely talented, but, he's young. He's got to prove it once he steps on campus.
Yeah. The only thing encouraging for me, Jason, would be what Christian Clark did in the bowl game. And, look, I know it's only a small sample size, but – he damn near got half of C.J. Baxter's yards in one game in what C.J. Baxter did an entire season. So there's the thing for me that I am a little encouraged about Christian Clark and what that could potentially look like. And so I do want them to bring in one guy, but if you tell me you've got Clark and then you tell me you got Cooper, James Simon, it's not as desolate as I would want. But of course, if you can get a top-notch premier guy, sure, it is what it is. Now,
like cats like to say, if you can get a guarantee in the box, that's what you want, right?
Yes.
Derek Cooper, super high ceiling, but he's not a guarantee. There's no guarantee with Derek Cooper being a true freshman. But you're right that bowl game performance from Christian Clark kind of lessens the level of concern a little bit, doesn't it? It gives you a little bit of a buffer there. If you miss out on all.
He showed the things that we wanted to see. Explosion, elusiveness, right? He was the thing that I feel like was kind of missing. I'll be honest with you, and so look, I don't want to crap on too many of the guys who have left, whether it's Wisner or whether it's Baxter, but as we saw a ton of from him. I honestly wish now Clark would have been the number 2 guy to Wisner. Would have loved to see that as a working combo. But nonetheless, if it's Clark and whoever else, I'm cool with that at this moment. I'm not cool with the offensive line, though. I'm not cool. Look, I don't know if you watched any games last season. I don't know if you were busy on Saturdays or anything like that. But the offensive line, particularly the interior guys, because when I say offensive line, it's almost like it's like you everybody in the class gets punished, but it really is only 1 or 2 kids that did something, but everybody's got to get punished for it. It's like, I don't want to punish Trevor Gooseby in this conversation when I mentioned, but I have to say offensive line. I don't mean him, and I don't necessarily even mean Baker to a degree. I am concerned, though, Jason, that we haven't seen a ton on the interior. And what also concerns me, Jason, is that the Michigan guys who you mentioned, they are going to sit down with the head coach and have a conversation this week. And we've seen, Jason, guys are sitting down with their programs, and when these guys are giving their programs a chance to give them a second pitch, a lot of these guys are just staying, right? And so I'm concerned about O-line. Where are you as far as, okay, if I give you that panic button, is that one a little bit closer to you? If I just said offensive line.
That one's definitely closer to me. Yeah, I don't have my hand on the button necessarily, but I'll say this. I talked to some sources Sunday night. My days seriously are all bleeding together. It might have been Monday morning. I don't remember, and I was inquiring about the Michigan offensive lineman, and I don't get a sense that there's a big level of concern from people in Austin. I think they feel fairly confident. And what I was told is like, hey, if Texas gets one, they're both coming. Okay. So they just want to lock up one of them. But, the fact that Michigan's still trying to keep them in Ann Arbor, Missouri is, I know, working on the offensive tackle. But yeah, it's the offensive line to me is interesting because, to me, if you were to talk before the portal opened, I think we would have unanimously agreed it's the number one position of need, right? Yeah. That's not to say there aren't other positions of need, but I think everybody probably would have put offensive line on top of their list. You've got bookend starters at tackles, but like you said, it's the interior of that line. And we still haven't heard an announcement from Connor Robertson, right? If he's coming back at center. So if you could get that, let's just say you get that duo for Michigan, and one is a tackle, one's a guard. Well, then you can slide Baker into guard. And if Connor Robertson comes back, you've got a pretty good starting five.
Yes.
Now you worry about your depth. That's why you still need to take maybe 2 other offensive linemen out of the portal or more. But I look at that on one, I'm like, okay, suddenly, boom. If you get those 2 Michigan guys, and if Connor Robertson does come back, you're looking pretty good. Now, you can't afford a lot of injuries or things, but, then you can maybe count on some of those young guys to develop and give you some depth. They did bring in, and I don't have his name, but he was an interior offensive lineman. I think he was a center from Wyoming for a visit. But I was told that Texas kind of was like, hey, we're going to kind of wait and kind of see on some other things. So, they've got other irons in the fire at offensive line, but obviously the 2 Michigan dudes seem to be the main priorities right now. Yeah. But it is a concern. You talk about boom or bust. You get those 2 dudes, and I'm like, okay, boom, you feel pretty good. Now let's just go get a couple other guys, maybe they're second, even third tier, that can help you with some depth pieces. If you don't get those Michigan offensive linemen, then you're like, oh, shit, now where do we go? What do we do to kind of fill these spots and make this thing work?
Yeah, that's my only thing is, Jason, if they just add in a couple of good components at other positions, I'm okay. I can live with that. I can talk myself into it. It's the offensive line. Like, I feel like if they don't add in something up front, like Jason, I said this yesterday. I didn't want Arch to play in the bowl game because I was like, he doesn't need to be behind his offensive line one more time. Now, to Arch's credit and to the Lions' credit, they didn't play that bad, and Arch balled out. Like, he balled out. He played out of his mind. He still took a couple of hits I didn't like, though. I'll just say that. But you can't run that back, though, Jason. Like, you can't run that back. You got Ohio State in week 2. Okay? Then you got the rest of that SEC schedule. You can't run it back behind that line. So, I'm with you. I want to see something there. We got 10 days, so no panic yet. But by this upcoming weekend, I definitely would love to hear some big names, some big fish that are coming in as potential starters. Now, there is one big fish that we have talked about, and you've alluded to, but we'll get into it, is the Cam Coleman conversation. Now, you get Cam Coleman, And damn near everything else almost seems like a luxury at that point, right? It's almost like that's your victory lap.
Who needs an offensive line? Just throw it to Cam Coleman.
Just throw to him, right? We'll just do like quick outs and stuff like that. Just the screen pass to Wingo, screen pass to Coleman. That's the offense right there, right? That's all you're gonna do, right? Your thoughts on where Texas is as relates to Cam and what's happening now? I've been texting someone as we've been talking as well, so I've been paying attention. But I'm also
well, I'm curious to hear what you're hearing. That thing is moving all over the place. Originally it was obviously Texas. He visited A&M on Monday. He was supposed to visit Texas Tech and USC. Now it's looking like he's not visiting Texas Tech. The USC one kind of looks like it may fizzle out. Alabama's trying to get him around, and it's weird. Like we were talking as an Orange Blood staff last night, like. There are still some people in Austin that are confident. Mm-hmm. There are some people in Austin that don't feel very confident. I've talked to someone close to the Texas A&M program. There's confidence on their side too, dude. So I don't think anybody truly knows. And there was a report, I think it was Pete Nakos from On3 that said, hey, Cam Coleman, his decision won't be about money. And I'm like, what? Like, I guess when you're talking $2 to $2.5 million, I mean, kind of splitting hairs at that point. If you're going 2.5 to 2.7, I don't know, but he's going to make his money, and that's going to be a big part of it. But you've reported that and it makes sense after playing with Jackson Arnold, he wants to play with a quarterback who can. Had to get my Jackson Arnold.
You just damn it, right there, Jackson, right there, one more time, buddy.
You think like Jackson Arnold like did one of my daughters wrong or something? I have nothing against never met him, don't know anything about him. But yeah, I mean, he wants to come to a school with a good proven quarterback. Texas has that. A&M, you can make fun of Marcel Reed if you want to, but I mean, he played pretty well this year, and he had good receivers, and they did just fine with Marcel Reed throwing in the ball. So I guess I want to hear what you have to say. I don't know what the answer is there. I feel like this is one where Texas can't afford to not win in the same way I feel in like high school recruiting, like Derek Cooper. He was a guy Texas couldn't afford to not get.
Yeah.
So they did what they had to do to get it done. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel that I said that about Colin Simmons a couple of years ago. I said, Texas can't afford to not win that one. Yeah. Of course, I also said that about a couple offensive linemen that Texas didn't get. So, but yeah, that's how I feel about Cam Coleman. Texas can't afford to not win that one. So I kind of lean Texas, but there's a lot of mixed signals with that Cam Coleman situation.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing that I feel like the money's going to be not equal unless he goes to Tech. Like that's my only thing, Jason. Like I hear the whole thing with Tech. Now, if he goes to Tech, ain't no telling what kind of money they'll throw at him, right? It's
right.
If I was in his camp, I would say selfishly, I'm like, we need to make the trip to Lubbock. Like, for $3 to $4 million a year at Lubbock is going to go really far away.
Yeah, and you're there for 1 year, dude. If you don't love Lubbock, I get it, but tough it out for 1 year if you're getting $4 million.
That's a lot of downtown real estate, man. In Lubbock, man. Like you get on a block over there, and I don't say anything bad. Lubbock has a really nice downtown. Quite honest with you. So
I've never been.
You've never been to Lubbock.
I've driven around it, but I've never
really.
Yeah, I've taken the loop around Lubbock, but I've never gone.
I guess only because I went to Tech that for Tech games that is reasoned by events in Lubbock. It's not bad. It's
except it's in Lubbock.
It's just in Lubbock. It's
the best thing I can say about Lubbock is it's close to like New Mexico and the mountains in New Mexico.
Well, you ain't getting to go. You get no mountains in Lubbock because it's just flat land.
Yeah, like, you're only a couple hours from like Angel Fire, New Mexico. So yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I guess if you were in a college town if you just want to drop your kids off and say go to college and that's all it is, then yes, then Lubbock is the place for you. That's all they're going to do. But it's overall, it's ain't a tourist destination. I can tell you that damn much. Like, I never heard anybody, what are you doing? I'm going to Lubbock for the weekend. Like, that doesn't happen. Anyway, I forgot where the hell I was. Oh, yeah, Cam Coleman. So, Cam, if it's about, hey, I also want the money's going to be somewhat equal. And now I'm going to go to my second, the deciding factor, which is who's going to throw me the damn ball. And if you've had Jackson Arnold, to your point, and you have a chance to upgrade to Arch, I'll take Arch over Marcel Reed. I mean, if that's what my choices are, and I'll take that. I'll take Sark's offense. I'll roll with this. I know he had a good visit when he came to Austin. I know that that they love the family and everything to that effect. But I also know in this era, it's just hard to know what's what. If you get Cam Coleman, you basically get the belle of the ball. You get the high school cheerleader, right? Like you are the high school quarterback with the most attractive woman on campus. You've got it, and I'm good with that. I think you'll be able to roll with saying you've got Arch, you've got Cam, you've got Wingo, and just fill out the rest from there. If you don't get them, well, then we riot. And then we riot at dawn or at midnight. At midnight, we'll riot at midnight. We'll throw up chairs and we'll do it like that. So there is that. And then one of the last things, Jason, and we'll just cover. We'll do two last things. They also are in the mix for some defensive guys. You mentioned the Florida guy as a possibility. I think they were talking to a linebacker as well, Jason. Let's just defensively, let's just kind of go through some of those things and where Texas stands. Because like you said, there are guys that need to be replaced, but I don't necessarily put the defensive side outside of linebacker. I'm not in a huge panic for anything else. And for me, linebacker is more about depth than it is about anything else because I already love what they have coming back.
Yeah, and that linebacker, was it the Auburn guy that he committed to Missouri last night? There's the Wisconsin linebacker that everybody's really high on that's supposed to visit this week. I'm not even sure who else is in play there. Bo Masco is a cornerback out of Rutgers that Texas is hosting on a visit. So they've got some guys coming in. I thought it was interesting that their first position they filled was defensive tackle. And they might add another one. Zion Williams from LSU. They sure love to throw the numbers at that defensive tackle position, don't they?
Boy, I mean, that gets love. And in my running joke, and one day he's going to see me on the sidelines and cuss me out. But Jeff Banks can get what the hell that Jeff Banks wants. I don't know what the hell Jeff Banks. What kind of lunch he brings Sark every single day. I don't know. He's like, here's your Chick-fil-A, sir, because I don't know what Sark, like, he likes Pluckers. I don't know if he likes pizza, but whatever it is, Jeff Banks brings it every day because Jeff Banks, no matter what, he's going to get a specialist and his tight end. I'm like, damn it. If I'm on the staff, I'm like, Sark, what about us? I'm like, you need to bring what Jeff Banks brings every day.
And I'm okay with the specialist. I mean,
there's no problem with it, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, they needed those guys this year. I mean, they've got 100%. Some freshmen coming in, and maybe those guys turn out being amazing, and then you can count on those guys for 2 or 3 years. But they needed some guarantees, experienced, kickers and punters, and even a long snapper.
And long snapper, like all those specialist things. By the way, Jeff, when you see me, like, please know I said this as well. All those things matter, and you notice it when you don't have it. When your long snapper's throwing it over to the punter's head or throwing it somewhere else, where your punter's shanking, where your kicker can't make kicks, like you notice it then. So I all jokes aside, those were positions of need, and they had to strike it. It's just funny that was the first thing that was done. That's all.
Yeah. But good for them for shoring up those.
Yes.
It'll be a 1-year cycle. Those dudes they'll be doing it again. We'll be having these conversations again next year. I would think on the defense, if you're asking me personally, I would have said probably linebacker number 1, secondary number 2, defensive line number 3. Yet the first thing they did was fill the defensive tackle spot. They're trying to, I understand why they're going after the Florida edge. I mean, he's a fantastic player. He's young. He's got multiple years. Well, you've got some really good talent in that edge room. Obviously, Colin Simmons is coming back. I mean, Richie Wesley's about to show up on campus next week. That dude's in my eyes, a potential first-round pick someday. So, yeah, it's interesting. But like I said, someone said the Wisconsin linebacker he's visiting, and they've got the Rutgers DB that's Masco that's supposed to be visiting. I think maybe even today. So they've got some pretty good players there. Listen, Texas is getting good players to come visit, Anwar.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting the guys you want to be on your team to come visit.
Yes.
But you've just got to close the deal on them now.
Yeah.
And why is this year different? I had people ask me this in my 3-2-1 column. Why is this year so much different than the last few years when guys would just show up and commit? Well, I don't know the answer to that, but I think these players are smarter and more educated. Each year they get a little bit more educated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've got agents who know how to work the game and are telling them, hey, slow down. Let's take some other visits. It's kind of like what I do when I'm buying a car, right? I get 2 or 3 car dealerships involved, and I see who's going to keep coming down to the lowest, right? Well, these agents, it's kind of the reverse of that. You get 2 or 3 schools involved, and you see who's going to get you the best offer. So I feel, they've got time. The window doesn't close till the 16th. That doesn't mean you have to commit by the 16th.
No.
You just have to be in there by the 16th. Classes start, I don't know, I think UT is like the 20th or something like that. But these kids usually can show up 2 weeks after classes start. They're fine. So, yeah, I mean, I think these guys these players are being smart and these top players anyways, and dragging things out a little bit. And I think they're getting good advice, good negotiating advice by their agents. So that's why I feel like this year's maybe a little bit different. That's why everybody's in a panic. Like, what's going on? Why are we not seeing all these commitments? Well, people are taking a different tactic in the way they're going through this process. And honestly, it's probably smart by them.
First of all, how am I saying his name or his or her name?
Insane Terror?
What is it?
Insane Terror.
Oh, Insane Terror 94. Okay, man. I'm like Insantandi Tawara. I'm like a Key and Peele skit. You ever seen a Key and Peele skit where he's like the teacher?
Oh, that's one of my favorites. You kidding?
Yeah. And he's kind of mispronouncing Balaki.
Jaqueline. Come on, Jaqueline.
Exactly.
If one of you damn kids snap. Yes, I love that.
That's me trying to read Insane Terror. I was trying to add like a black twist to it. I was like, Insantior. Anyway, says Texas is worse today than 1 month ago. Cooked. Obviously, we're not at that point to overreact yet. You still got 10 days left of the portal, Jason. So we still have some time. I guess right now, Jason, it's simply don't panic. Is that where we are? Just don't panic?
For now, yeah, I think that's safe for now. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, things may look a lot different by the end. It's only Tuesday. By Friday, things may look a lot different. We may be, on here just celebrating all these commitments for Texas. We'll see. Who knows?
Well, staying with my Jeff Banks theme, I guarantee you there's a gunner that he's going to offer and have on campus by this weekend.
Hey, you got 105 scholarships. Why not? You got 105 scholarships to play with. Why not?
Jeff Banks is going to be like, F you, Anwar. All right, get out of here. I'll close up, man. See you
later, Anwar.
All right, that's it. We got Modcast at noon. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Got tons of updates on orangebloods.com. So now's a great time to sign up. I know you guys are out there in them X streets, Twitter streets, whatever you want to call it, getting your updates there. But we've also got some updates for you on Orange Bloods as well. I'll be back at noon for the Modcast. So stay tuned for there. Working the phones as we see. Every time you always see me looking down. I got the phone right here, so I'm working it as well, trying to get some news and some updates from y'all. So listen, today's Tuesday. Go out there, January 6th. Go out there, have a fantastic day. Remember, I always say, live each day like it's your last. One day it will be. So go out, do something special for yourself. Have a fantastic day. I'll be back here at noon, and y'all take